Hey, what's up, everybody? Team Wilpers. This is Pumpkin Spice Wrap Up Briefing. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Hope you liked my little trailer. I did get a beautiful day today here in Vermont, and I got out on my mountain bike and took advantage and tried to make a little video about it. But a couple things about that ride is that I mentioned before that my knee was hurting and took a little time off the bike and iced and did some strength training to try and fix that up and alleviate, and it did. It got better, but almost as soon as I started going uphill on that mountain bike today, the pain started coming back. It's not unbearable. I was still able to perform, and I'm pretty sure that bike does not fit me right. So guess what I need, you guys. I am in need of somebody, and there is happens to be a awesome bike fitter who now lives here in Vermont. Brian Hammond, I need you, please. If you're out there, if you see this, I texted him today anyway. But Brian, I need you to hook me up with that mountain bike because I really like riding it and it's a lot of fun. So other than that, I mean, 2023 season reflections. I think it's really important. I tell my clients and my athletes all the time to take some time and reflect on a race or on an event or on a test or on a ride. Definitely on the season. You know, as 2023 wraps up, my reflections are that taking my own advice, I thought back and I did have a couple of races and they were great and good, and I reflected on them a little bit. And one thing that if y'all were here in June, my dad passed away in June, and I really used the bike to help get me through yet another tough time in life. And so it really helped to do that tribute ride. I did an 82-mile ride, which turned out to be 86 miles, but a ton of you all out there uh joined me and were posting up and in support, and that was awesome. That was a really cool thing and felt really good to reflect on. um so the other thing was the consistency, also due to you guys, because without this group and the coaching and the being a leader here in this community, I might not have been as consistent. So thank you to you all for that. The post that I had going in the Facebook group about the um, reflections and whether you're going to test and everything, some really good reflections on the season came out. Yeah, I think it is a yearly event. Maybe not a tribute, or maybe a tribute, but you're right. It should be a yearly event. Some reflections that were from that post. I just want to give some shout outs, and most of my top contributors, you guys are always in there. Thank you for that. But maybe some folks who I don't see their names so much. Scott Farr, awesome. I'm not gonna say what all of your reflections were. You'll have to go to that post in the Facebook group to actually find out. But Scott Farr, Jara B. Sturdivant Wilson, Becky Logan, I'm so sorry if I mess up your name. I do not mean to. Mindy Jensen, Ashley Cooper Dula, Molly Helmick Polanski. Ask questions, right? It doesn't have to be exactly right, but you were asking questions, and I'm sure other people had the same questions. So thank you. Nicholas Cottonstedt, Jenna Mace, Rebecca Swanson. I'm sure you're not alone, and that illness kind of kept you on the sidelines. So you are in good community here. So post up in that. Keep that reflections post going and comment, and let's keep that going a little bit. I don't think the season is quite over, but it takes a little time to wind down. So, like I said, most of our top contributors were in there as well, and there's lots of good stuff in there. And also, the other topic was: do we test or do we not test? This training block is winding down, and what do we do? Do we take an FTP test? What about the power profile, the Power Zone Max that Matt did? He did a class power profile test. I like this one because, especially at the end of our training block right now, we've just focused a bunch of time on the upper zones, the upper intensities, and what a good time to go for it. Check it out. Check out your 1 minute, your 5 second, your 5 minute. If you did it before, this is a good time to compare. If you haven't taken your FTP test in a long time, maybe it's time. If you're feeling like you could use some new zones, maybe it's a good time to do it. Being that we're not going to have any high intensity for quite a while, it might be a good time to see what you've accomplished over the season. So if you've been following along with me for the whole year, I've probably been encouraging you to not really test so much during the year, but maybe this is a good time to do it since we are kind of hanging the season up. All right. The last choice is so either the power profile max test, testing the upper intensities, the FTP to test your zone 4 and set new zones, or the always a good choice to do an hour or so at zone 2 at well, I like 75%, which is right on the limit, right on the line between zone 2 and zone 3. Do that for about an hour and get an average heart rate for that time. And if you've done it in the past, it's a good comparison to hold the same power and compare your heart rate. You can do a combo even. We used to do power profile. A real power profile test actually includes the 20-minute in addition. So it's really like an hour and 15-minute long ride. And you could totally combine it if you're up for it, but don't go crazy. Do a combo, do none at all. This is where I want you to feel confident making the decision of what do you really need. And if you think I could help, shoot me a line. Yes, Linda, yikes, you don't have to overdo it. You don't have to do all the tests all the time. Anyway, all right, so as we're moving into the off season, what does that mean? Well, we call it an off season because maybe there's no races and the races are over, no events to focus on, so the training can turn elsewhere to ensure a balanced fitness when the next season starts. But we here are mostly non-racers, so still, since we train really like competitive cyclists with power zone training, it's good to turn our attention towards some other areas of fitness. I like a little less focus on cycling, believe it or not, and more focus on strength for the next couple of months. And so what's the goal of that? What does that mean? The goal of strength is to condition movements not really used in cycling. Okay, what does that mean? Well, in cycling, we do flexion and extension at the hip. We're bent over our bikes. We don't do any side to side. So how about lateral flexion, core, trunk, lateral flexion, use your obliques. How about abduction at the hips? All of those muscles need to be built up, conditioned so that they can be supporting your structure, your posture when we start ramping up the cycling. Doesn't mean we don't ride bikes during the off season. It just means we focus on different things. So if you get up in the morning and have a choice, I would go for strength first for now. Does that make sense? All right. All the upper body movements are in play. Taking that mountain bike ride today, I am constantly ridden by those mountain bike rides and technical rides that upper body strength is needed for riding if you do take it outside. So let's take a couple months and focus on strength, and then hopefully you can maintain it throughout the next season as it starts, as the next season comes around. So if you're new to strength training, the Team Wilpers plan is awesome. Okay, Coach Ryan, Coach Ava are great. They've got videos, they've got instruction, and also they're available for coaching. If you are really a novice and are afraid to get in, sign up for a consult, sign up for a month of coaching with one of them, and they could totally help you through. I also have limited availability for something like that, and was a personal trainer for many years, so have plenty of experience with the strength. Reach out to me if I can be helpful with that. Okay. What's next? Frosty Endurance training block. I almost said the C word. Frosty Endurance training block. Okay. It's coming up. The signups are up. I believe it starts Monday after next week. I think that's the 27th. So it will have a similar structure and options just like this one. And since next Thursday is Thanksgiving, I will not do a briefing on that day. So we are going to jump right into it. If I can, or it seems right, I'll do a recorded briefing and make sure that that's available to talk about the rides. But rest assured, they are going to be sub-threshold. That means base building, endurance, aerobic rides, no zone 4, no zone 5, 6, and above. But zone 2 through sweet spot are in play. Okay, all of the sustainable intervals. Why do we do this? Well, we just put the finishing touches on this season, right? We trained the higher intensity intervals. The top floor of our building can't get any higher unless we come down and make the foundation stronger, wider, more capable, right? Does that make sense? So just as if we're making our building bigger, we have to go down to the ground and pour fitness into the base with zone 2, zone 3, sweet spot, stay below the ground floor. If you're thinking about the bigger picture, there probably won't be any real above threshold intervals until middle of January, maybe even February. We're going to do a proper base building so that all of your other higher levels or zones can go up. So once you build a solid foundation, then we can work on the higher intensities later on and put a whole season together. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you think it doesn't, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about it, but or just stick around and follow along. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about next year. So to keep you consistent and to keep you under control, and I guess there is a gap in between training blocks next week. I did make some timers. So if that's something you're interested in, I will post 5 timers for 5 rides for next week. So no classes, no corresponding classes or anything, just timers. So you can jump on, you can play any class you want, do a just ride, or you all can pick some classes for next week. So a little bonus, I will post those up, and hopefully that helps you keep you consistent and moving during the Thanksgiving holiday week. Speaking of consistency, we give swag away to random weekly consistent athletes. So check the boxes in your Team Wilpers portal, and after you complete a ride, and you'll be eligible. If you check all the ones you signed up for, you will be eligible to get some Team Wilpers swag. And this week's winner are Amy Loveridge and Megan McGuigan. Congrats, you guys. Okay, don't be surprised if there's an email asking for your address, and that is from us at Team Wilpers, and we'll send you some gifts. So keep the conversations going in Facebook, and I'll jump in when I can. I hope you all have a really good week next week, holiday week. Be safe, stay fit, keep working on everything, and I will see you in a couple weeks, and I can't wait to get the whole next training block started. All right. Thanks, everybody.